Tulsa is not LA. It's not New York. But T-Town and Oklahoma in general are making a mark on the TV and film industry. Over recent years, big-name productions like Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro, were filmed here. So were TV shows like the critically acclaimed Reservation Dogs and now The Lowdown, which just premiered on FX. Crews are being trained here, studios are being built here, and productions are making an economic impact here. My guest is Meg Gould, the Executive Director and Film Commissioner at the Tulsa Office of Film, Music, Arts, and Culture. She's right in the middle of this TV and film boom in the Sooner State. We talk about how Oklahoma became an attractive place to make films and TV shows, what it means for our city and our state, and what's next as Tulsa builds its reputation as a place to create. This is One More Thing with Nathan Thompson. All right, Meg, thanks for joining us here. And let's kind of start with the state of the TV and film industry here in Tulsa and Oklahoma in general.
It has been really incredible. We're seeing so many different feature films here, independents. We have a television series coming out. We work really hard with the other film offices in the state in order to attract it to the state first. And then we're kind of like, hey, bring it to Tulsa kind of thing. And it's been very successful the past few years. Of course, we have our hometown heroes like Sterling Harjo, who insist on doing their projects here. Thank you, Sterling. And so it's really brought a lot of recognition to our area.
That's great. And you mentioned Sterling Harjo. That's timely because The Lowdown is premiering, obviously, on FX. What other kind of big projects are going on in the Tulsa area right now?
Sure. We just had 2 feature films that just wrapped, and they were smaller indies, but we love those. One, because, they keep our crew working the entire time. And 2, it shows what a diverse film industry that we have here, where we could do small, we can do larger. We have Sarah's Oil that's coming out later this year. We just had Cottonmouth is about to announce their date. We had Book of Jobs, which just was released into the theaters, and it changed names, and so forgive me, I'm not remembering it off the top of my head. But we're seeing a lot of those indies coming out of here as well. Sarah's Oil was a little bit larger production, so we're excited about seeing that on Amazon. And it's just all great things looking this way.
You've been at Tulsa Film and Music for coming up on 3 years now, a little over 2.5 years. So you've got experience with the history here a little bit, but you know how it was 5 or 10 years ago as well. How has it changed, from a decade ago?
Well, we didn't have a lot of crew here a decade ago. We didn't have a lot of crew here 5 years ago. Sterling Harjo's really helped that, as well as Rebellion Films and Red Clay Studios, people that are willing to give people that are just wanting to enter this industry a chance and help build up our crew. So that has really helped us with attracting a lot of the projects and stuff that are looking at coming to Tulsa, just because we're able to have more of that infrastructure that productions are looking for.
And part of your job, I assume, is attracting these productions from outside of the state to come in.
Absolutely.
How do you sell Oklahoma and Tulsa?
I find that a lot of people think they know what Oklahoma is. I thought I knew what Oklahoma was, and I got here and was so pleasantly surprised. I'm a Texan. I should know what Oklahoma looks like. I knew Oklahoma City, but not necessarily this side of the state. So, once we can get people here and show them around, they're sold. And with these companies like Rebellion Films that are bringing in these people from LA or New York and doing these productions, they're automatically going, hey, I like Tulsa. And like Busy Phillips was on a recent production, and I was talking to her, and she said, "Hey, I have friends that I think that Tulsa would be great for." And so I handed her my card, and she like took a picture of it and started sending it to several people. So we see once we can get them here that they really like it. Selling Oklahoma is not very difficult once we can tell them, sit down and talk to them. Our incentive is very attractive. So especially for independent films, a lot of people don't give the same type of incentives that we do. Where ours is a rebate, so that makes it a little bit easier. And so those selling points help us quite a bit.
I don't know if you can break down or get into specifics. What is the rebate for Oklahoma?
Sure. It's 20 to 30% on money spent in Oklahoma. So if a project comes in and they have like a $10 million budget, but only spend 6 of it here, that's what the rebate is based on. And so it starts at 20%, and then there's upticks like hiring local crew, using local vendors, using a soundstage, filming in rural areas that get them up to that 30%.
Was there a turning point, a moment where it kind of the industry really exploded in Tulsa in your mind, or has it just been a steady increase?
I think that Killers of the Flower Moon really put a spotlight on Tulsa with the success and combination with Reservation Dogs. I think that really started showing what we could do here. Then we had successes with Fancy Dance at the same time, which was picked up by Apple. So that time period really was showcasing what Tulsa can do and what our area can do. The success of what Cherokee Film Office is doing as well. So they have studios that they've built. They have an institute that they just launched. They're doing their original programming. And so it's just amazing. And they have a film commission as well. So having 2 film commissions here really helps showcase our area. And so I think that us working together has made a difference with that as well.
And for your job, there is some travel involved. It's interesting talking about getting productions here. You just came back from 3 weeks, like around not just this country, but also Canada, trying to, I guess, talk up Tulsa and talk up Oklahoma, right? Can you tell us kind of what you did on this 3-week trip?
Sure. I started off in Toronto for the premiere of Lowdown that was premiering at the Toronto International Film Festival. So that was really exciting, and put it on an international scale there. And it was very well received. So we were able to talk to a few people while we were there. It was a very short trip. But then I moved on to New York and had several meetings with people like Universal, with NYU, etc. And then was there for the Today Show announcement that the Today Show will be here in Tulsa on October 10th. Then we moved to music in Nashville. So we were part of Americana Fest, where we hosted an Oklahoma stage with the Oklahoma Film and Music Office. So we had 2 artists from Tulsa that were on that stage out of the 3. And then there was also like Ken Pomeroy, Keeland, J.D. McPherson was being honored. Or like he was up for an award. So we had a great success there promoting Tulsa music. And then finally went to Cincinnati for the Association of Film Commissioners International, which is just our film commission kind of, what they call it, a symposium, where we learn about what everybody's doing and learn about the trends and all that kind of stuff. And I was actually honored to be on a panel there talking about Tulsa. So it's been a whirlwind, but it's been all great trips and very successful.
And when you make all these trips, to Toronto and New York and Nashville, places like this, and you're talking about Tulsa and Oklahoma, what's the reaction you get?
Honestly, after I was on that panel at AFCI, I had several people come up to me and said, "Oh my gosh, I really want to go to Tulsa right now. You guys have a lot going on." So, I talk about anything from our Tulsa Remote program to our incredible museums, how we're now telling the history of Tulsa as well through Greenwood Rising and talking about Black Wall Street and then the Osage. And so I just see so much of that being attractive to people because they don't have that same relationship with their city. And so after we talk about all the successes that we have going on right now, the reaction generally is, "Oh my gosh, I really want to go and see Tulsa."
Now, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people in Oklahoma think it's cool when we have, Martin Scorsese and Leonardo
Absolutely.
DiCaprio and Robert De Niro and stuff here to make movies. But there's people out there, obviously, who don't care either. They don't care about entertainment,
Right.
but they do care about the Oklahoma economy. When a major production, say like Killers of the Flower Moon, that was big time production. What does that mean for taxes here, for jobs created here, things like that?
Well, they had a huge budget, so they were able to like spread around the wealth a bit. They hired like so many different extras. They put $1.2 million into infrastructure of roads. They helped with the HVAC of downtown buildings in Pahuska. They helped one gentleman actually retire during the pandemic. He didn't think that he would ever be able to retire after the impact of all of that. And so they came in and used it was an appliance store that they used. And like when they left, he was able to sell his business and move on and retire. So, it affects a lot more people than you think. We use money in dry cleaners and lumber yards and hobby stores, anything that you need to have on the screen, they're getting from our local businesses here. And so it's pouring a lot of money into the economy. Caterers, just going out to eat with having that large of a crew around. It helps our local economy a lot.
PR, I'm sure it has an impact on. Maybe Killers of the Flower Moon is a period piece, so maybe not so much on Tulsa, but you look at something like the Lowdown that's more of a modern day Tulsa.
Absolutely.
Do you think that does give some PR for Tulsa in a positive way?
Absolutely. Sterling did a really good job that he wants everything to be in Tulsa. So he did a really good job of showcasing what Tulsa really is. Some people may not like part of the storyline, but for the most part, it really shows off Tulsa. There's our Tulsans are in the film. So we have musicians that are acting in it, Kim Pomeroy, and then she also has songs and stuff that will be in it as a part of it. So, we're crossing over those two industries and helping elevate other people's careers outside of the film world. So it should bring a lot of attention to Tulsa. And it's like Sterling said, that he's really showing Tulsa for what Tulsa looks like, and not maybe an outside show.
Yeah, exactly. He has the local knowledge for sure.
He does, yeah.
Now, is there in any of these big time productions that have been here, is there a moment where you're on set or behind the scenes that's kind of stuck with you?
Absolutely. I will say, being on these sets, they're some of the calmest that I've ever been on. And I've been around in the industry for a while. And so it's very calm. People respect one another. It becomes like a family. So that makes quite a difference also when other people are coming in, that they see this automatic crew that knows how to work together and respect one another, and it makes your day go quicker and don't have as many delays because there's different problems that help. And so, yeah, it's just, that's been one of the most incredible things to see behind the scenes. Also, we just being able to be proud of what we're creating out of here too.
We talked about some of the movies that are coming out or soon or are already out. Are there any projects on the horizon that you can talk about? I know some of these have to be kind of secretive, but are there projects that you can talk about that are on the horizon?
Yeah, we have, like I said, we just wrapped up two. One's called Horrified. It was about a horror convention. It's kind of has a comedy twist to it.
That's the one with Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman and Busy Phillips.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of fun. We have another one called Pretty Babies that was being filmed at the same time. And so they're traveling from Texas to LA. And so you get to see what Oklahoma can double for as well. And don't have really kind of a release date or anything on those, but there's some to watch. Again, Cottonmouth is coming out by the same company, Rebellion Films. We have The Road that's going to be on CBS that stopped here at Canes. So there's several different things on the horizon. We have a couple that are circling right now. We're waiting to confirm that they're actually going to film here, but I feel very confident that they will.
We talked about how much it's grown, the music and the film and TV industry here in Tulsa. How do you make sure, what are you doing to make sure that it's not a boom and a bust, but it's something that keeps growing and staying long term?
We have several different partners that have been doing some workforce development. We continually look for that because we don't want just a lot of people getting on and just those PA spots. We want them to be able to grow in the industry. So trying to make sure that there's workforce development in that. So our friends at the Tulsa Film Collective have done some things. OSU Tulsa have been doing some classes. We're just trying to make sure that we're partnering with the right people to continue that growth. We're also looking at how do we add some of the infrastructure. Right now, Collinsville is building a studio. So we're hoping that that will help drive more productions here. We have the studios at Cherokee Film, but there's also a need for a little bit larger space to be able to build some of these sets. So it's great to have them both right there in kind of same area. And then we just have to continue getting additional funds into our incentive fund. Right now it's at $30 million. And we want to raise that to 80. So once we get to 80, we're going to get those bigger studios looking at us again and knowing that we're going to have the money to help attract them and be able to sustain the film industry here.
It seems that in the past, it almost had to be a combination of a perfect storm for a big movie to come here, like Killers of the Flower Moon, that was based here and so many ties here. But as you get the workforce, you get the studio space and everything like that, Oklahoma can be a place where people shoot things that aren't Oklahoma stories necessarily.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's like I said, we just had one that was filmed because the jobs was like we doubled for Silicon Valley. You know, I mean, it's like we're already doubling for a lot of these. So we just need to show that on a larger scale. And believe me, we have a few others that are looking this way that will definitely surprise you if we land them and get them filmed here.
So as far as TV and movies, it's kind of a new boom for Tulsa, but the music scene, I mean, Tulsa is well respected for its music scene for a long time. Especially the Tulsa Sound in the 70s was maybe the peak of it. So it has this long history. What do you guys do to kind of support that history, trying to make it grow and to support local artists and musicians?
Right. We really work hard to support our local artists and help them grow. We want them to be able to tour so that they're getting more exposure, but at the same time call Tulsa home. So we created a fund called Tulsa on Tour, where we help musicians with grants of $250 to $1,000 if they have more than 4 touring dates outside the Tulsa region, so that we can help them with gas in their car or renting a van if they don't have it, a hotel room instead of trying to drive back to Tulsa. So it's been very successful. It's a little over a year now, and we have over 150 musicians that we've supported. We have our musicians have traveled to over 145 different cities, including some in France, some in Canada. They've gone to Hawaii, but we're seeing a lot that are, surprising us that we didn't know our artists necessarily went to. So we're really excited about that. We've granted over $30,000 for that. We were able to secure a grant for that program, so we're trying to continue that as well. Then we also have a mix and master series where it's a networking event. Also, as at like a panel or some kind of educational series as well, where we'll bring in a music supervisor who talks about how to get your music into film and television and talk about healthcare and benefits and stuff like that. So we want to support those local musicians, but then we get to promote our wonderful museums, the Bob Dylan, Woody Guthrie church studio. So, and of course, like our wonderful venues, Merck, which is in the Lowdown, and Canes, etc. So we're really excited to be a part of that narrative and help shape what that music scene looks like here in Tulsa.
You mentioned the museums, the Bob Dylan, Woody Guthrie. Woody Guthrie's bringing in U2 to go to Canes to accept
gosh.
an award.
Yes.
That's obviously a big deal, place where U2 played back in 1981. So you have the history of Canes also. The Tulsa Theater, all kinds of BOK, is very respected across the country. Do you feel like, we talked about how the movie and TV industry is viewed across the country. How is the music industry of Tulsa viewed across the country?
I think that people love the music that is coming out of here. We're having, another huge surge of artists that are coming out of here, whether they're consider themselves Americana or country or whatever it might be. I mean, we have a huge amount of talent here, from rap to punk. I mean, everything, and people are noticing where it's coming from. So, and I think that having the success of the Bob Dylan Center and the Woody Guthrie and just the movie coming out has put another spotlight on us. Then we're continuing that with working with the Bob Dylan Center to do exhibits at NYU. So there's an exhibit there right now that we did a joint event with that was very successful, and trying to attract businesses to Tulsa, talk to them about our music scene and film. So that was a huge event, and that we had a great time with. That was a few weeks ago as well. So, yeah, and Church Studio, my gosh, the amount of talent that they're attracting here for recording is incredible. So we have a lot to be proud of in this city right now.
And you talked about the misconceptions of Oklahoma in general, Tulsa in general. I mean, even you had them before you came there. Are there misconceptions about the Tulsa creative scene across the country?
I don't think so. I think that we're getting the word out, and people are starting to pay attention. I think that they realize that, we have a lot of art programs too that are granting grants to artists that are helping them get exposed, more exposure and stuff as well. And so I think our cultural scene and our creative scene is unbelievable. And honestly, I love telling the story about the three tribes coming together in our city, and that, that what they're all doing with the business aspect, and what they're doing for their tribes now. I think it's incredible. So that's something that I think that a lot of people are noticing now as well.
Now I'm going to put you on the spot as a fortune teller here. And let's say a decade from now, Tulsa, Oklahoma in general, but Tulsa specifically, where do you see the TV, film, music, the creative arts scene being?
I think potentially we will be doing very well. A lot of people compare us, and I know Tulsans hate this, but to Austin or to Nashville. I think that Tulsa has an opportunity to be the Tulsa that we want to be, and just keep shaping that. And so if we just keep the progress going and keep investing in ourselves, I see it being very successful and one of the top.
All right. And at the end, I like to shake it up and put you on the spot here. We've been talking about TV and music and film, but I want to ask, I always ask my guests, what's one thing that's been on your mind a lot the last week or two? It can be about this topic if you want, or it can be about anything.
Okay, so what's been on my mind lately is, oh gosh, I could say it and I don't know if it's going to be received well, but I need to figure out a way that we can grow our office so we can help Tulsa more. And so we need the opportunity to have more employees to help us really expand and tell that Tulsa story and really invest in all the areas that we cover. Because right now it's really tough to do all three. So I feel like if we can get a little additional help in that, then we'll be really able to help Tulsa a little bit more.
And so in your office, you have you and
Natalie Bowling, who is a rock star.
So it's a two-person department. How do you go about increasing the staff in the office?
Right now, our department we're under the Tulsa Regional Tourism Office. And so they've been very supportive as helping us with our marketing efforts and things like that. So we have a plan of how we're going about to try to increase our budget is. And so right now we're working on that plan, and hopefully it will come to fruition very soon.
All right, Meg Gould with Tulsa Film and Music. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you again to Meg for joining us. Film and TV production is booming in Tulsa and in Oklahoma. It's cool to see our city and state on the screen, but the industry is also creating jobs and tax revenue. Big budget movies, indie films, TV shows, they've all been made here in Oklahoma. And people like Meg Gould are working to try to make sure that doesn't change. If you enjoyed this episode of One More Thing, or even if you didn't, please follow the podcast, like and subscribe, and share it with a friend. I'll see you next week.